Hey, welcome back. Here's part 2 of our David Bowie lesson, the Phish song David Bowie, not the artist David Bowie. Here's everything we have so far. How about a recap? I'm going to turn on my metronome here because that's going to be important today. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's everything we got so far. Okay, so what's my metronome doing? Oh well. So to recap on that, everything we did in the last lesson was really one lick modulating down in whole steps till you got back to the key you started in. We started in B, and then we played the same phrase in A, then in G. Then when we did it in F, we didn't have enough frets, so you go up the octave, but you're still going down a whole step when you think about it. Then we did it in E flat, then we did it in D flat, and then we end on the same B note that the entire passage started on. And that's where we are now. So from this B note, here's what happens. I'll play it first, and then we'll talk about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. It's a lot of stuff. So, let's start right from this B note. The first thing to keep in mind, everything we did in the last lesson was in 3/4, you know? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. By this point, when it hits that B note, he adds a quarter note to the time signature. He's actually in 4/4 now. The pulse doesn't change. It's still, but there's just 4 of those for every measure instead of 3. And just side note, that was kind of an interesting thing for me to notice because I was like, for a long time in this, I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, how am I going to write down all these time signature changes? And I kind of realized, like, years and years ago, I saw some interview with, or maybe read an interview with Trey, and he was talking about writing David Bowie, and he said he was trying to write as complicated music as he could that people could still dance to. And I realized that no matter how crazy this song gets, even in the second half, where it really gets into some weird bar lines and time signature stuff, that is always there the entire song from start to finish so that people can bob their head and dance to it no matter how weird it gets. It was kind of, I was like, oh, I understand what he meant by that now. So this is a perfect example of that. That pulse is still there, but he's in 4/4 instead of 3/4. He just adds a quarter note. So, like when he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's hard to count that and play it at the same time, but it's in 4. So what happens now is like this kind of like whole tone thing. The whole tone scale is when it's all like whole steps, you know. He used the whole tone scale a lot in the early days. So he hits this B note, and then he goes up here to a B flat note, and it's all like kind of like major thirds. It's all on the same fret on your B string and your G string, so starting at the 11th fret. So after this B note, he goes that one. Now he goes up another fret and does the same thing, but he goes up instead of down, and he adds an extra note on the high E. But it's on the 12th fret because it's a little augmented chord. Okay? Very Looney Tunes sounding thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep that shape in mind. He's going to do it a bunch more times. So then he goes back to the 11th fret, but does this little figure where it's like all whole steps on 2 strings. Okay. So that little lick. All right. Then he goes to the 12th fret. From the 12th fret, it's that same little, the same little lick we just did a second ago starting on the 11th fret, but we're on the 12th fret now. So we have... Same thing, starts over. Then this, same thing again. All right. Now we're on the 13th fret, same thing again. Wait, is that right? Let me see here. Yeah. So essentially what's going to happen is you do it on the 11th fret. It's almost like this is actually the top of the passage. Is that? And then you do it on the 12th fret. Then you do it on the 13th. After that, you're on the 13th fret doing it again. And now you're on the 14th fret, and this is the last time you do it. So 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's how many times you do that theme. And it's a whole tony thing, but every time you start it over, you move it up a half step and do it again. Let's do that one more time. Sorry, this is a little denser than last week. So that low B note. Then this thing. Now we're on the 12th fret. Now we're on the 13th fret. Now we're on the 14th fret, and that's the last time. Okay, cool. Hopefully. It's a little hard to explain that one, but you know. So now, the next step, we go down to an A note. Play the A note. Now it's this little chromatic thing. So you play the A note, then go up to a B. And it's all just chromatic, notes in a row for 4 notes. Just all 4 fingers right in a line. And then back down. Then you do it again, but move that 4-note little figure up a whole step to C sharp. Up another whole step to E flat. And then up to F, but you don't go back down. It's just up. And then one little rest before the really crazy part. So that whole little piece is... And then there's like a quarter note rest, right? And then the crazy chromatic thing that we're going to talk about now. So everything we have so far is... Now the 12th fret. 13th fret. 14th fret. A. B chromatic. C sharp. E flat. F, and then that little rest. Now, this part's actually a little easier to explain. I want to, actually, rhythmically, this part's pretty crazy to me because it's still, what's happening is kind of the same idea as before, but it's only moving in half steps, and it's moving down. But it's the same little 4-note chromatic thing. And then he moves it down a half step. Another half step. He does that all the way until he goes... until the last one, until he sort of breaks the pattern a little bit, is on the 11th fret. After that, something a little different happens. So it's... All right? One interesting thing to think about, and this is why it's really important to do this part with the whole thing with a metronome, but this part really kind of threw me for a loop for a while, is because it's something that the pattern is 4 notes, it's really tempting to think they're 16th notes. It's tempting to think 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Or really it would feel like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a... I guess you could perceive it that way. But when I'm playing it with a metronome with that pulse that I said is there the entire time, no matter what you do, those notes actually end up being in triplets. So triplet, right? Kind of interesting, right? And you'll play it better if you think of them as triplets too. So yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. So then if you do it in time like that, maybe I'll slow it down, and this is fine. So it ends up being this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now the last piece of the puzzle, he gets to the 10th fret. It's still that 4-note grouping. And, you know, he plays this pretty rawly live, and as he should, it's badass how he just kind of like, it just devolves into like low note kind of, you know, dirtiness. But I watched like a version from the Clifford Ball where they play it really, really precisely, and it looks like he's just doing this. The same 4-note pattern, but all on the same fret until he gets back to that B note that we started on in the first place last week anyways. Kind of full circle moment. So once you get to the 10th fret, and then your hand's in a great place for the next part of the tune that goes, is an E minor, you know? So let's do that last passage in time together. I'm going to slow it down really slow here, but I still want to do it with a metronome. So remember, they're triplets. So if you need to think about it first, maybe say with your mouth the rhythm of a triplet before you really try and play it. Triplet, 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 triplet. It's good to say the number of notes that are in each little lick too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But in the rhythm of a triplet. So then you get this. 3, 4. Pretty cool. All right. So how about maybe with the metronome even slower? Let's play the entire thing we talked about today. Maybe even slower than that. Let's see how slow we can do it. That's good. Let's do that. Okay, so we start with that B note. I'm going to count it off in 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. There it is. Pretty wow. Great chops builder. Oh my gosh. Let's do it one more time, kind of faster. Like it's gonna be fast. Let's try it. All right. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't feel good about that. I know my limits. Cool. How about we do everything we have so far, right? Nice and slow. Play along with if you want. I'm putting my metronome at like 130. I'm going to do everything last week and this week up to this point. And then we have the entire first compositional section. And then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to count it off in 3. When we get back to this note for the second half we talked about the last 15 minutes, We're in 4. Just think about that. Maybe try and count along if you want. Don't even play. Just listen and count. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. Have fun with it. Be patient with it. And we'll talk about the other part next time. See you real soon. Bye-bye.